Hey-ho! Let's go. Thank you for joining us again tonight. As this week, we look at the American and National League Western Division boom, bust, and prospect candidates for each team. But as we are prone to do, we begin the show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Sell the team, John, right now. Welcome back. You are looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 76 for our show, part of the Ball9.com podcast network. In addition to what we talked about, a little World Baseball Classic. Hunter Green's arm is distressing the other host of this show who's keeping him, maybe, in our Dynasty League. Sup?
I wish that was the only league I was keeping him in. My episode 76, the trombone edition, right? So, welcome all. Besides watching us here on the Ball9 Network or wherever you may be tuning in from, hello, big man. Also follow our Facebook page, our application formerly known as Twitter on the X account, and our Instagram account. And then on the YouTube account, please smash the like button and subscribe, because we are still about 99,042 followers away from getting paid. So let's get to it. Yeah, my next Tuesday, I have my National League only draft. And those save players were due last night at midnight.
Really?
Hunter Green is one of those players.
Oh, man.
Our draft, I had my brain set on what I was doing, and this news, I don't like that we'll wait for the results of the MRI and two visits to two different doctors to confirm. Well, Hunter Green saying, I got elbow chips, and that's what it is. I got loose bodies in there. It's not a UCL. And I pitched through it last year, but it was a playoff run.
I'm guessing your NL-only league is not filled with sympathetic characters that would allow you to make a switch.
If a player is deemed out for the season, you are allowed to make a change.
Unlike our league, whose commissioner had final rule 30 years ago and made Kenny save Andre Scalaraga after his cancer diagnosis. But
yeah,
I digress.
Look, I mean, if it was today, he would have been okay, because he probably would have been playing by July.
Probably.
Modern medicine's come a long way. It's not worse than also in that league, Oral Hershiser being the first pick of the draft and then like 4 days later being out for the season.
Yeah, right.
Holy Christ.
All right. Shall we get to our boom and busts?
Let's go right to it. To the American League West we go this week. Go West, young man. This is my favorite show, because we get to talk about the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
They're so irrelevant.
They are quite irrelevant. Man,
why don't you begin?
Why don't I begin? So at 457.33, 770 now drafts on NFBC. 770 drafts. It's a lot. So good sample size. I'm looking at Jacob Lopez from the A's for sure. He had of course, last year after I picked him up, he completely shit the bed, but he had a really good run. I like Nolan Schanuel at 344. That's good value for him, especially if you need batting average at first base and you've got a corner infield position. I think Mike Burrows is going to surprise in Houston this year. He was solid for the Pirates last year. He's going to be surprisingly good. I have already talked about how much I like Brendan Donovan in that Seattle lineup. Third base is an awful category. So at 285, he's a good buy. And I mean, I think if we did last year's, I was in on Evan Carter too, and has barked all year. and his leg and his knee, and his ankle, his wrist, and whatever else. He had 100 injuries last year, but they're giving him the keys to center field, and he's going to play. And you just hope that he can recreate the glimpse that you saw his rookie year.
Is this Evan Carter's last chance? He's still young, but he hasn't lived up to the hype.
He had such a good rookie year after he got called up, and he's still young. He's still really young. So I think he's going to get chances. I think he's going to get more than one chance, if I'm being honest, just simply because of his age.
Yep.
But I mean, he's still a young guy. He is. Of course, you don't get it on here. I don't know. He's already sick, so he is up. He's been his ADP has been as high. He's been drafted as high as 153. He he bottomed out at the beginning of January, and he's been rising pretty consistently as we get closer to the season.
Yeah.
So I think people are starting to drink the Kool-Aid a little bit on him. Well, I think you watch the Rangers and you're like, what are they? I mean, what their outfield? What do they got? Except for your guy, who I'm not excited about your guy.
You know what? Brandon Nimmo is one of the two guys that I blame for my meltdown on Mother's Day last year. The other being Cody Bellinger.
And your mother.
And my mother, yeah. The day I walked out at 6:30 in the morning, and my wife's like, "What is the matter with you?" I'm like, "My fantasy baseball team sucks." Yes, I'm in a bad mood. I haven't had a cup of coffee yet.
Happy Mother's Day. Here's your vacuum.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day. What are you going to make me for breakfast?
Cody I got you an iron.
Brandon Nimmo are taking years off my life because my team sucks. That said, Nimmo finished as near the 60th ranked player, and he got it going. I think the Mets. I think the Mets made an absolutely massive mistake by trading him for Marcus Semien, who jumped the shark 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I love Nimmo in Texas. Hey, I'll get over last year. I won't forgive Cody Bellinger, but he's the poster boy for my failure. I gotta deflect somewhere. Josh Naylor, I think, is actually undervalued at 65. Those steals. If he runs like he did, I think maybe he'll get a little more power, some of that back this year. I think he's happy in Seattle. They're going to be really good.
Hey, Dirk.
And the other guy that killed me last year is Spencer Arrighetti. Stop shagging balls during batting practice. He gets hit by a ball and breaks his pitching thumb. It trashed him for the entire year. I think that's why his ADP is so low, because when he came back, he wasn't very good. I think he's a good bounce back guy late in a draft. He's still a good pitcher. He just had really shitty luck last year. As to Grayson Rodriguez, what's that?
There is that lack of throwing strikes thing that he runs into every once in a while.
He can adjust to that. Love Grayrod and the Angels. He's probably one of 2 or 3 players on that team that are worth having, because they are a disaster. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I want to see what he can do for a full year. And I was going to go Jacob Lopez for Oakland, but I went with his battery mate, Luis Morales, who came up and played really well last year. The A's are going to need those 2 guys and a couple of their younger guys to step up, because anybody counting on Luis Severino, who's got it in his head that he can't pitch in Sacramento, and Jeff Springs, who can't pitch anywhere. Severino at least was good on the road last year because he wasn't totally psyched out. The A's are going to need the kids to step up, because they're going to hit and they're going to score a lot of runs. So hopefully Morales and Lopez can lead that.
Yeah, I like Morales. I do like Morales. I mean, it's good.
I don't know if I would draft either one of them, but
the challenge with Oakland pitching is you can't pitch them at home.
Yeah.
So they require more roster management than most.
Yes.
Rocky's pitcher's the same thing. I mean, it's the same ballpark. I mean, it's just the ball just flies out of there. The more hot and humid it gets. I'm rooting for Grayson Rodriguez for two reasons. One, because I'm rooting for Grayson Rodriguez to come back and be what everybody said he was going to be. And two, because he should have been the ace of the Orioles staff. And
that was the second awful trade of the offseason was Gray Rod for Ward.
I agree with that. I'm so out on Ward.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
It's crazy. So let's see who else. Let's see who else we're out on in the AL West.
Good evening, Robert. Yeah. So, Hoppy, I'm down on him mostly because his batting average sucks, and that was okay 2 years ago. That position has gotten deeper very quickly.
Yeah,
there's much better options than him. Alejandro Kirk, for example, Drake Baldwin's ascension has gone up. I would take a flyer on Adley Rutschman, who I think may come back this year a little bit after a terrible year last year. Carlos Correa, other than just being a douche, I don't know where he fits with Paredes and Pena. Pena's better at shortstop, and Paredes is a third. Alvarez is DH. I don't know where he's going to play.
He's going to play third. Paredes is an odd man out right now.
Is he really? I like Paredes better than Correa. Okay.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Okay. Well, thank you for at least giving me that.
They're going to put the midget back in left field. Oh, I'm sorry, small person. The short guy. Can't say that. Can't say midget.
No, you can't. He can't play left field either. Jeff McNeil, I don't know what the A's were doing getting him. I think the A's are going to hit a ton. He's not going to be part of that. And somebody's got to be the bust on them because I love the other hitters they have. And I put the big dumper on here just because he can't possibly do that again, can he? I mean, what would you expect? 40 home runs? He's not going to hit 60.
But so I understand.
Is too high.
I 100% understand where you're coming from on Raleigh. 100%. But the difference between him, the gap between him and William Contreras at that position, and then Contreras to everybody else currently, is so big that he's clearly, non-debatable the best fantasy option at catcher. Clearly.
He is, but if you're going to invest,
no, I'm not taking him at pick 17. There's no way. I've passed on him 3 times already.
That's my point. That's too high. Just based on last year's numbers, of course, it's fantastic.
I like too many other young catchers better to take late than to take that position. I like Baldwin. I like Baldwin a lot. And he's going 120 picks later.
So do I, and I have a feeling you and I might. Well, good thing we're not going to be together at the draft because that could lead to a wrestle and scuffle.
Yes,
because I think you and I are definitely hot on Baldwin. And the other guy, look, if Corey Seager could play, what's your saying? The best availability is availability, or whatever that is.
The best ability is availability. Yes,
yeah. He averages 120 games played in 9 seasons, not including the 2020 COVID year, which he only played 60 anyway. He's never on the field.
That's a problem.
That's a huge problem. And I've been talking this week with some of our buddies about Byron Buxton. I'm like, well, he finally wasn't hurt last year, and look at the numbers he put up, and good for him. Byron Buxton, a lot of his issues was crashing into walls and doing things like that. I don't know what it is with Seager. I worry more about pitchers getting arm injuries on a consistent basis, but there's something about Seager. He's just not on the field enough.
No, he's not. And that's a great segue because Josh Lau, no way, man. I mean, even at 267 and even playing every day, he's not going to play every day. He's a 400 at bat player. I'm not drafting anybody that has 400 at bats. He's not. I don't care if it was 867. I'm just not even looking at him because he's the same thing. Like, you got to be on the field from a fantasy standpoint, you want guys that play all the time. Like you don't pitchers, you do what you do, but hitters, you want guys that are going to play. Now, Christian Walker plays every day, but I'm not taking him at 189. There's no shot. I would take Shanuel before I took Walker, just simply because A, the value, and then B, he's always a slow starter, but he never really recovered. His numbers were still decent last year, but first base is really deep. Now, where he gets a bump is that with corner infield if you have corner infield in your draft, third base is so weak that all the first basemen are going to get picked.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get a first baseman in the first 30, if you don't get a first baseman in the first 30, you're going to have to go like back to back with that third tier of first baseman quick, because people will start, once they get a third baseman, they'll start gobbling them up because the third base option is not great. Lawrence Butler, I don't get the hype on Lawrence Butler not one bit.
I kept Lawrence Butler and traded James Wood last offseason.
Now look at off the year that he had.
Yeah.
You weren't like, that wasn't outrageous, right? But his second half was horrible. And now he's hurt. So he hasn't even played yet. And he's going at 146. And I know there's a lot of grasping at outfield after the first 10. Like you're grasping for guys, but
yeah.
If he was available at 180, I'm jumping on him in a minute and taking a flyer on him. But at 146, and I'm certainly not going above that ADP, not a little bit. Luis Castillo, I think his best days are behind him. He's still good, but he doesn't strike people out like he used to. And you can wait on Luis Castillo, and people will take him for the name because they won't dig in. And I think if you wait on Luis Castillo, you can get him in a 180s, 190 area. And then Mackenzie Gore, I don't care where he's pitching. I don't care. I don't care.
You sound like a guy that's owned Mackenzie Gore more than once in your lifetime.
Change of scenery, blah, 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 blah. I'm done listening to how great he's going to be. Yep. I'm done. He had one good first half in his career, and it was last year. And then if you took every other half a season that he's had, you're not taking him at 197. Not a shot.
I'm surprised Gore's is that.
You're taking him as a bench pitcher.
I think Gore, I'm surprised he's at 197. I would have guessed up in the 140s, though I don't think I'd grab him in the 140s. Castillo, I actually took off my charts because I don't want him. And somebody's going to pick him, like you said, based off his name recognition well before I even think about it. But yeah. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with him. Butler I still love, but last year I just kept waiting all year for it to go, and it never did. So now I'm not sure. Who knows? Maybe he got that big fat contract 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know, but he hasn't.
Yeah, and then he pitched to prove that he was worth a contract, and then woke up and went, "Wait a minute, I'm Mackenzie Gore. What am I doing? You're not supposed to be this good."
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to the kids. Boy, the Angels farm system is not great because they call guys up so quickly. I like Clausen a little bit because I think he's going to find his way into the rotation there this year.
Yeah. I put Bremer in there. He was their first round pick last year. He could be up late, but you're right. They're very thin on prospects. There is no relief or help coming from the AAA ranks for the Angels.
Well, they lean very heavily early in the draft on college players, and they don't draft them to keep them in the minors. They draft them they draft players that they believe are major league ready, and they've shown that. Like they have shown that they draft guys and then they call them up. Like they give them that short season. They see what they are. They give them a head start to start the next year, and then they're up as fast as possible. And if they can call them up, like after their college season, they're calling them up. They're not. They look at college ball a little bit differently, and they're probably right to do that, to be honest with you. Of the many things that they're not good at, I think what they're probably right to do is because they play so many games in college now and the competition is so great that it translates. What they are can translate pretty quickly. And we're seeing that more and more across the majors. And I think that's just their organizational scouting mantra is we're going to take 3-year college guys, 4-year college guys. We got a full body of work on them. They're going to play against better competition at Wake Forest, and they're going to play, than they would have played as an 18-year-old in, East Bumfuck somewhere. You know what I mean? So I think they have enough information that they can make a decision. Now, whether they make the right decision or not, they are the Angels, so we never know. But I mean, I like that approach because I think it's a good approach based on what college baseball is now. And then on to Houston, I think Zach Cole's going to end up in the lineup. I mean, their outfield's not great, so he's being given every opportunity to win a job, and he's hitting a little bit. And I think you're going to see him. I think you're going to see him on the roster that goes north. For them west.
Bryce Matthews is interesting. Same thing. Right, Altuve may or may not be blocking second base. I've read Matthews may switch to the outfield as well to get him in the lineup. Maybe it's a youth movement there in the outfield for the Astros.
Yeah, well, Altuve can't play forever.
No, and I can't see them putting him back out in left field. That was a disaster last year.
No, they have to cut the grass shorter so he doesn't get lost in it.
It happens.
Yeah, of course, you have the one A's prospect. That was a tough watch looking at their prospect pool. I would have expected it to be a lot better, to be honest with you. But I think Gage Jump's going to be maybe not in the rotation, but maybe not in the starting rotation, but in the pitching rotation this year.
He will. He's going to get a look. He was the guy. I'm glad you put him in your list. He's the guy with Morales and Lopez. Gage Jump could be a big difference maker for them. I think he's going to get a look. Again, I don't know what role it is, but you'll see him up this year for sure. And I also think DeVries will be up probably later in the year. He's only 19. He's a shortstop. I could see maybe move him to third base or shift Jacob Wilson to second base if DeVries is a true shortstop.
I think that was more likely. DeVries is really athletic.
Yeah, if Jacob Wilson moves to second base, he's a keeper in dynasty leagues.
Maybe if all you care about is batting average. I mean, is Cole Emerson going to make?
I don't know.
Is Cole Emerson going to break camp with the Mariners?
I don't think they have to bring him with them.
I don't think they have to. You know what? Maybe that's interesting. They might have to. This is it. This season's it for the Mariners. Like they can't. Like I get they made it to the ALCS last year, but like they're built to go to the World Series, especially with that pitching staff. And as long as it stays healthy and Munoz is still effective on the back end and the bullpen still does what the bullpen does, anything short of going to the World Series is a disappointment for them. And I think they got to go all in. And if Emerson's a better option at second base, I know they love JP Crawford. I don't. I mean, I like him as a player, but never in fantasy.
Yeah.
And Donovan could go to second base if they needed him to. So that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting battle as the next month goes on. Not even a month anymore. Next 3 weeks goes on.
Did you see the video of Kate Anderson the other day? He looked good.
I don't think unless if somebody gets hurt, he may be up. They don't need him right now.
Yeah.
That's a nice luxury to have a starting rotation where you don't need a guy that's got that kind of an arm. But Castillo's getting older. Wu's going to need to get paid at some point in time. I mean, Wu's going to need to get paid at some point in time. George Kirby is probably due for a contract. I mean, they're going to have to make some decisions on their pitching staff sooner than later, and he's ready to go. And their farm system's packed with players.
Yeah,
they're in pretty good shape. They got a ton of outfielders. Like they got a pretty solid farm system. Unlike the next team we're going to talk about, who traded their entire farm system except for your guy who's out for the season for Mackenzie Gore. They traded half of their top 10 prospects to get him.
That's crazy.
I got Santos because I think like just like a lot of teams, you know, we talked about the A's, but and then I mean, like a lot of teams, he may be in the rotation this year at some point. If he's in the rotation, they're going to have some problems. But I mean, I think with him, they don't know what he is yet. Is he going to be able to hold up as a starter and get a third pitch, or is he going to have to be a bullpen guy? But their closer options are a giant question mark right now too. So who knows? I love Walcott. I like him a lot, but he's going to have a lost season now.
Yeah.
Sadly. But there's like, he's a shortstop, so they're not going to move him. I mean, Seager might be hold up better if he was in second. Seager is a good defensive shortstop. Now we go to the National League West.
The NL West.
We could talk about the Dodgers.
And Todd, the Padres, yeah, they could watch DeVries become a star, but you got Mason Miller throwing 104 miles an hour. You got to enjoy that while you can.
Yeah. Saves on a 78-win team. That's exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly. That was another terrible trade. But
it is. I know Corbin Burns isn't pitching until after the All-Star break. At the end of the draft, 574, I'm taking him before that. If I'm not in a league where your lineup is your lineup and there's no bench, I'm taking him. And I'm stashing him until he's ready to come back.
Yep. It's not a bad idea because when he comes back, then it becomes a really good free agent move. And if you're in a league with an IL, it's not hurting you by doing that. You know, Merrill Kelly, I think he'll drop down a little bit. He's got that back nerve thing. They've said it's not bad. He's doing some light throwing, so maybe that's good. I love Merrill Kelly in Arizona.
Well, he's their opening day starter, so I'm sure they're hoping that the back is nothing more than right now. But he has in the last 4 days he has dropped. He's dropped since he said that his ADP has dropped more than a little bit too. But he's been drafted between 155 and 356. At 155, I think you're overdrafted him. At 356, I think you stole him.
Yeah.
Right?
What about Zach Veen?
I'm back on a Zach Veen train, baby. It's Zach Veen season. I'm back. 43 pounds of muscle added.
How do you do that?
You eat a lot.
I eat a lot too.
Maybe he called Jerks and Profar. Maybe he called Jerks and Profar, and Jerks and Profar helped him out.
Maybe. Put him on the same diet regimen. Workout.
But more importantly, Jesus. Fucking stop watching. So that's every week. I hate the guys in our league. I wish it was not the guys in our league that we're watching.
Yeah, right. Jake Baldwin's going to go in the first round of our draft now because we talked him up all off.
Yeah, he'll be at least a second round pick. So, but more importantly with Veen, and I hate these statistics. I hate them. The power increased his exit velocity, but he changed the launch angle of his swing. He went when he went back down last year and he started working on his swing to not strike out every time he had an at bat. He changed the launch angle so he's lifting the ball more than he was last year. And if you add power and which relates to exit velocity to a little bit of an increased launch angle, and you play in half your games in Colorado, and besides Mickey Moniak and a guy that we'll get to on the next page that I don't get, you're going to play. And I think you take him if he's there and you're at the bottom of the draft in the 600s and he's still sitting there, I guarantee you next Tuesday in the National League Only League, he's going way before that for me.
Yeah. I like Moniak. He's solid player. They don't have many.
First overall pick of the draft, Mickey Moniak.
They don't have a lot of rosterable players, but two of them are right on our screen right now.
Yeah, they really do.
I mean, they're bad.
They really, really don't.
They're the Jets of Major League Baseball. There's just no hope. Don't know what they're doing. What's the point?
Come on. No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Arizona Cardinals. They're the Cardinals.
They're the Raiders.
No. We're Mendoza time.
Yeah. Mario Mendoza. Like the Dodgers guys are easy to take. They really are. Because the lineup, especially for hitters, the lineup translates to more production. Both our guys I like above their ADP.
So do I.
I mean, I know a lot of people didn't know anything about Andy Paez until the friggin' playoffs when he decided to not participate. But I'll take in an outfield world that's a little challenging. I'll take 252 with 22 homers, 75 RBIs, 10 stolen bases, and 70 runs, and 500 at bats. And he didn't have that job, and he didn't have that job at the beginning of the season. He ended up with that job. And if you equate it out, and you get 25 and 15 and 90 RBIs and 260 out of an outfielder right now, and he's not your first outfielder, and the way outfield's, like I said before, it's a little bit of a scramble. The longer the draft goes on, you're really scrambling for guys. I'm taking him. I'm probably drafting him above his ADP because I'm likely not going to pay attention to outfield the way I should.
Yeah. Well, he's going to play too. He's a great glove. He made the catch of a lifetime in the World Series to save it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And Will Smith just hits.
Will Smith is at least 20 spots too low on that ADP. I had Will Smith last year for the first time, and boy, did I enjoy having him on my team. He is I think I would even say he's a better than a top 80 player, but 100, that's way too low.
At that position? Yeah.
Yeah. I would take him higher.
I was happy to see that you had Michael King because he would have been my first choice on the Padres. But both of these guys, King and Musgrove, King's not being forgotten quite as much. Musgrove's being forgotten a little bit more. They're both really good.
Yeah.
They didn't play last year.
Yeah, so it's a throwaway.
There's definitely a not in every league, but in most leagues, there's definitely a lack of consideration given to guys that missed a full season. or the large part of a season. They just forget about him. You're not like you look at stats; they're not ranked on last year's stats, so they don't appear. And then they get taken, and you're like, "Oh shit, I should have taken that guy. I forgot about him." I like Heliot Ramos. I like him better than 213.
He's 26. He's arriving. I think if he's your fourth outfielder, then you're doing really, really well for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, even as a third outfielder, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah, he great 4, good third, but I think the numbers are coming for him, and I think he's got a breakout right on the way.
And their lineup's going to be better, and their lineup's going to be better because Devers will be settled into first base. Arias is going to be playing second, and if you need batting average, Shanuel falls into this a little bit too. If you're going to take a 220, 40 homer guy, and batting average is a stat in your league, who else are you going to take? They're going to score runs. He'll run a little bit, and he's going to be playing second base. So once he has second base eligibility again, his value is going to go way up.
I said it when they signed him that moving to second base automatically makes him worthwhile of not just a roster spot, but in your lineup, because that position is so thin that even if you get if he goes back to 310 or above, he'll give you some other counting stats, not a ton. He's not going to win you anything with his runs and certainly anything else. But the batting average alone is probably better than what you're going to get out of a lot of other sources at that position.
And then you're in a draft you're in a league with middle infield as part of your roster. Why not? Why would you not consider him? Even if you got to play him as a second corner infielder for, whatever your league numbers are, 5, 10, 20 games, why would you not? Because he had a down year for him last year, which was 299.
Yeah.
He never gets hurt. He had 552 at bats last year. He scored 73 runs. He only drives in 50, but he had 10 stolen bases. He doesn't strike out.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike out. He's going to be hitting in front of Devers, Adames, and Ramos. So if he gets on base at the clip that he normally gets on base, 335, 340 on base percentage, he's going to score 80 runs this year. And they'll run them. They don't not run in San Francisco. They run just about as much as they did as they do in San Diego. And if you can get 300 with 10 stolen bases and 80 runs scored and 60 RBIs out of second base, why not?
Yeah, I totally agree on that.
Yeah, he is the other stats are counting stats. And that's great. Head to head, he's awesome because he plays all the time. And he doesn't strike out, so the ball's always in play with him. So who knows? He's not going to hit more home runs in San Francisco than he hit in San. He's not going to hit more home runs anyway. He doesn't hit like that. But I think that's a little too low for him, especially given the position change.
Yes.
You're out on Zach Gallen, huh?
I'm looking at the list, and if I thought of it, I'd have gone back to last year. I think 4 of my 5 guys are the same as last year.
Bogarts and Freeman are for sure.
And I'm pretty sure
Chapman is for sure.
I love Matt Chapman, but defense doesn't count in fantasy. Not in not my league. So he's not worth it. Bogarts brings no fantasy value.
I think Chapman's the third base bump. I agree with you. I think his ADP is a bump at third base because the options are so limited.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at this, Nolan Arenado's like, God damn, Nolan Arenado is, I want to say like 500.
Really?
485.9. He's 486.
Wow.
And if I had to choose between the 4 weeks of the year that Matt Chapman produces and a flyer on a resurgence from Nolan Arenado at third base, I would probably take Arenado.
New surroundings, it might not be a bad idea. Yeah, you asked me about Zach Allen. I just don't think he's very good anymore.
Last month and a half last year, he was really good.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. I won't draft him. You can have Adam. And Tovar, he only had 390 at bats last year, so injuries did hurt
I
him.
agree. Ezekiel Tovar, fool me once, shame on me. You're not fooling me a second time.
If you extrapolate those 390 at bats into a full season, the numbers still aren't very good at a very deep position. 201 is way too high. You get better shortstops deeper than that. And then Freddie Freeman, 65. He's in the 80s or 90s.
You hate him. You hate Freddie Freeman.
You know what? Yeah, I think I'm starting to.
Do. It's personal now. You've manifested this into a personal hatred of Freddie Freeman.
I think I actually have, and really for no good reason. Other than the fact that he ruined September of 2024 for you, and I felt terrible.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. But Xander Bogaerts, everybody in America can take him before I'm taking him.
Yeah.
I didn't consider Gallen. I actually considered Diamondbacks outfielders. Their ADP is so low that I'm not going to put somebody at 500 as somebody that I won't do it. I know you have. I won't though. Like that's not. I'm trying to look at guys that are getting drafted a little high. And Ryan Nelson, despite the fact that he's my namesake, you got to show me more. I need more information before I'm taking him that high. Jordan Beck, I hope Jordan Beck's great. I'm taking Zach Veen before I'm taking Jordan Beck.
Yeah.
Especially at 228. Jordan Beck, I'm taking on my bench at like 400. And I'm going to hope he's great. Blake Snell at 92, and he's dropping. In a 6-man rotation with a non-healthy pitcher. In fact, besides Yamamoto, quite frankly, I think Emmett Sheehan's getting a lot of love because he is. In a 6-man rotation, with the exception of Yamamoto, I think everybody's ADP is too high in the Dodger staff.
I would agree with that.
The 6-man rotation definitely is a deterrent to when you take Dodger pitchers. Yeah, they're going to win 151 games and blah 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 blah. And if wins are a category, you're going to get a ton of them from Dodger pitchers. Yeah. But you better have 2 of them in your rotation because you're not going to get. It's going to be a rare week where there are 2 starts, and in head-to-head, that's not good.
Correct.
And Nick Pivetta, I like Nick Pivetta. I liked Nick Pivetta last year. I don't like Nick Pivetta enough to take in round 8, round 7. I don't. I like him in round 10.
Yeah,
I'll fucking take him in round 5 in 2 weeks, but that because I'll get stuck. But
if Todd is still here, I'm interested to see what Todd would say about Pivetta being the Padres fan. I think he was a little bit out over his skis last year.
We didn't get hurt. And he didn't have a second half collapse, which has been his thing for a long time. He was solid all year. And it's one of the first times that's happened for him. So are you taking Nick Pivetta at 95.98 or Chris Bubich at 218?
Oh.
I have them ranked close to each other, and I've got Bubich higher than 218.
Yeah, look, I love Bubich. You got to accept the risk. High risk, high reward, right?
Well, you definitely have to accept the risk, right? There's no, but unfortunately, pitching, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's all pitchers.
you're accepting risk with pitching in almost every single case. Like Nolan McLean's at 103. I'm not accounting for any relievers. I mean, Gausman at 122. I'm taking Pivetta before him. Woodruff at 124. I'm taking Woodruff before I'm taking Pivetta. Glasnow at 125. I'm not. That's probably right. Sonny Gray at 131. He could be at 931. I'm not taking him. Like the young guys are a little bit of a reach. Mizorowski and Lodolo are in the 130s. There's guys I'd probably take. Not even probably. I would clearly take McLean, Mizorowski, Chase Burns, who are all below him. Cam Schlittler and Lodolo, I would take before Pivetta and try to reach above their ADP.
I agree with all of that.
Before I took Pivetta, Pavetta's probably a surer thing, but you're in a dynasty league. The sure thing's not always the right pick.
Yep.
And then Ryan Walker, like, I don't care if he's developed 11 more pitches. I don't care.
You're not buying it?
And for him to be at 195, this will tell you what the world thinks about him. When Carlos Estevez is at 96, Raisel Iglesias is at 98. An injured Josh Hader's at 76. Devin Williams is at 74. Like when the premier relievers are there, Ryan Helsley's at 106. When those, Pete Fairbanks at 130 on the fucking Marlins, like you got to be kidding me. Pagan at 133, like 195 tells you everything you need to know about what everybody feels about Ryan Walker. Like, oh, I guess I need another closer. I'll take him. I'll go with one closer and try to make a trade, or hope somebody else emerges. They figure it out in Texas. They figure it out in Arizona. Like I'll Kenley Jansen realizes he's 100 and Will Vest is a great option. I'll do that way before I'm taking him. I mean, I did take him in the last head-to-head on CBS because we had to have two relievers, and I took him at like 20. I took him way late. I took him it was a default pick. I looked at my roster. I'm like, shit, I need another relief pitcher, and I had like 2 picks left. Like, I guess I'll take Ryan Walker. I mean, Danny Palencia at 141.
No thanks.
No, thank you. But it's still 4 rounds ahead of Walker.
That's scary.
I don't know what the backup position is in San Francisco. Like, what's the like? I mean, I know they've said they're going to have him close, but man, what's the? I mean, I don't know what the other. I don't. What's the other option? I guess the other option would be Paguro, Budo, Bivens. Man, their bullpen's going to hurt them. Their bullpen could be a problem. Could be a problem for them.
All right.
They made moves to try to compete. Oof. In a division that's going to be tough to compete in.
True.
I do love Waldschmidt. I think he's going to make that team.
Yeah, he's a 5-tool guy in the making.
And outfield's not a position of strength for them.
It's not a position for strength in Major League Baseball, which is why I'm not
odd,
sleeping well leading into our draft.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, it's gone. It's evaporated. It's all gone to the catching.
And I went with Christian Mena just because they're going to need pitching. and he's probably first up in their farm system to be in the rotation. I do like both the Rockies. Charlie Condon may be the first baseman in Colorado this year.
They're like the Angels. Their talent pool is thin. You know, big man weighing in kind of. They don't have a lot of prospects in the system. So those
not like the next
really
team we're going to talk about.
You know, Holiday was just the overall pick last year. He's not coming up this year, but he's a deep investment for your deeper dynasty leagues.
Here, I like Alex Freeland a lot. Where's he play?
I don't think he does. I think he's kind of waiting for someone to get hurt.
I know where he plays. He plays shortstop for somebody else after they trade for a friggin' future Hall of Famer because they recognize they got a hole someplace. And that's the same thing with Joshua DePaula, who now he may play. But because Kyle Tucker's going to get hurt at some point, and they're going to get frustrated that Teoscar doesn't give a shit until October 1st. At some point, they're going to get he's a legit. Their farm system is loaded.
Yep.
Bunch of future White Sox players on their farm system. And then San Diego has, I put Mendez because the same reason I put Christian Mania is the track record of their starting pitching leads you to believe that he's going to be in the rotation at some point. I don't know how Salas isn't their number one prospect, probably because he's still really young.
He's 19.
But they've dumped so many players out of their farm system over the last 3 years. They don't have a great farm system at all.
No, they don't. He's a little like Holiday. You're not going to get anything out of him this year. Again, he's a deeper dynasty league investment.
But yeah. But at that position,
yeah, at 19 years old, he's not going to be up this year, but soon.
No. And Wisenhunt may start the year in the rotation in San Francisco. He might. He very well might. And if it's not at the beginning of the year, he'll be in the rotation at some point in time. And he's a better prospect than Harrison, who's been now traded twice in less than a year.
Yeah.
And he's already gotten a little bit of a taste. So I think they like him a lot. And he's definitely a guy to keep your eyeball on as spring training goes along and see if he lands in that rotation.
Yeah. Rodriguez is interesting. And what's the Giants' philosophy? He's not near the defensive catcher, Patrick Bailey, but he's already a better hitter. They got him from the Yankees. And so what do the Giants want to do? Is it all
he was in the Cam Duvall trade, right? So
yeah.
Well, that's a good. You can't ask Buster Posey that because he was a great defensive catcher and a great hitter. So
good point.
I mean, now he may look at it straight out of a catcher's mindset and say we need to be, and the Harrison Bader signing would lead you to believe that he's like, we need to be strong up the middle all the way around. But if that's the case, you don't sign a guy that was an iffy defensive second baseman and move him back from first base to second base. So you're right. I don't know what is the philosophy.
Yeah. Well, you're going to find out, but fantasy value, Rodriguez is much more than Bailey.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Baseball value, Patrick Bailey's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's like Henry Davis in Pittsburgh. You're taking Henry Davis as a catcher defensively anytime you get a chance to take him, but like you can't hit 198, bub. I mean, sorry. You just can't. So we have now completed our boom and bust and prospects with 3 weeks to go before the regular season starts.
This is true.
Which is pretty good. That's good for us. That's pretty good. Next week we'll talk
Amazing what
about.
can happen when you put a schedule out there.
Yeah, I know. Next week we'll talk about position battles. That might be interrupted a little bit by the WBC because guys are going to play no matter what because teams that lost players to the WBC, guys are going to get a look. So it could be a little tainted, except for on the downside. On the downside, it's definitely not going to taint.
Here, there was an interesting debate on Twitter. This is what I want to bring up today with the WBC, and I'm probably more interested in it this year than any other because the guys are playing. Aaron Judge is playing, Skeens, and it's not a real.
Judge, by the way, Aaron Judge has like 70 homers in the spring.
Yeah, right. It's not a. I want to see the best players play, and you are this year, so I'm interested in it. But there was somebody, I don't know what journalist where he's from. He's like, well, they should take a 2-week break like hockey did in July. I'm like, time out, dude. This isn't hockey. You can't push the season and the LCS and the World Series into mid-November. That doesn't work.
Well, hockey plays indoors.
Exactly. Exactly. I said the only way it would work is if you put everything in a neutral site, and you can't do that in a 7-game series or 5 games. You can't. Super Bowl is a one-off. That's a one-day thing. You can't do that in baseball, and you can't be playing November 18th in baseball.
The only option to integrate it into the season would be almost to treat it like Champions League in soccer, where you build. I mean, you'd have to go back to what the owners will never go back to, which is true doubleheaders. The fans, the fans' glory day, right? 2-for-1 baseball. Sunday doubleheaders was the greatest thing ever. Yep. Saturday or Sunday doubleheaders were great. Not because of rainouts, because they were scheduled doubleheaders. If you had scheduled doubleheaders and then you're off Tuesday, there's a WBC game on Wednesday, you're off Thursday, and then you're back at it on Friday. And that's the only way to do it. But even then, like they already pushed the start of the season up to what's going to be equally cold weather to November in some markets.
Yeah.
I mean, you reduce the number of games. The owners aren't going to go for that because that affects the TV contract.
Players aren't going to vote for that. It reduces
the players would vote for one to go back to 154. The players would vote for that in a minute. If it gave them more off days during the season, the players would vote for it. But what would they have to give up?
Salary.
Something that they're not probably prepared to give up. I am excited for the WBC.
I'm excited for it, but I can be honest with you. I could give two shits if the U.S. wins or not. I'm going to root for them. I'm going to enjoy it for the baseball, and then above everything else, pray none of my fantasy guys get hurt.
Well, I am definitely praying for that.
Pray. Scooble, take it easy. Throw batting practice. I could care less.
Yeah. Don't get hurt, whatever you do. I mean, I know they put the pitch limits in. They put the pitch limits in to help that from a pitching standpoint, especially because of when they play it. But we're not playing in warm weather in January.
Well, it doesn't work.
No, it really doesn't work. Baseball's such a long season. It's really difficult.
And you can't even play it after the World Series in all warm weather venues because you got guys that didn't get into the postseason run sitting around for 6 to 8 weeks.
What are they going to do in 2028 if major league players say, I want to play in the Olympics?
I don't know.
Like, what are they going to do? They can't take 2 weeks off.
No, you can't.
Oh, we don't have Aaron Judge today because he's playing for the United States. And
Gunnar Henderson already said after coming off that hockey a couple weeks ago, he wants to play in the Olympics.
A lot of guys do.
Which means I have to trade him before then. Because what do? You just team baseball goes on without the Olympians?
You fly in for an Olympic game and then you leave and you go back to your regular team. And then what if you get hurt?
What are the 28 Olympics? They're in LA, right?
They sure are.
Okay, so It's not like you're having to fly to Italy.
Yeah, but what if you get hurt?
Yeah.
Like, what if a guy gets hurt in a regular season game and he's on the Olympic roster? I mean, and the reason it works in basketball is because it's a summer sport.
Yes.
In the Olympics. I mean, that makes it work very, very easily because there's no season interruption at all for basketball. Hockey, there definitely was an interruption, and the 2-week break, they'll figure it out. And it's indoors.
You know what, though, with hockey, they can work around it. Like you said, they're indoors, but it's better for the sport of hockey to get the exposure that you get at the Olympic level.
Well, they definitely got the exposure.
It's just better for that sport because they need it. Baseball is now the number 2 sport. They've gotten back up to 2. They're gonna fuck it up at the end of the season.
Oh, they're gonna fuck this up. They can't.
They're gonna absolutely screw it up December 1st when they lock them out. But for right now, that World Series and everything else, that it put them back. They were back anyway, but that World Series solidied it.
And they'd be 3 if the inmates weren't running the asylum in the NBA. So, like, they'd be back down to 3.
Yeah.
I mean, attendance doesn't necessarily show that, but you know, I sat through a basketball game last night that was a nationally televised game, and watched a game that was at one point was a 54-point lead for the Spurs. The arena looked like it looked when I first moved to Philadelphia in the early 90s, and they were terrible. In the middle of the third quarter, there was maybe 8,000 people there.
Wow.
And if I was sitting in a regular seat, I would have been one of those people that had already left. But when you're in a suite and there's a stocked refrigerator, you don't leave.
No.
Unless the stock runs out.
That would be crazy talk.
No, that'd be foolish. So I think if memory serves me correctly, and that's not always the case. I think on our guys that I'm out on in the National League East, I think I had. Jesus, I did. I had Jerks and Profar on my guys I'm out on. So what do you know about that? What do you know about that? And what did I say? I think I remember saying, I don't trust him if he's not cheating. And maybe I willed it into existence.
Maybe.
But good God. And then Johan Rojas, who you're not taking anyway. He got 80 games, but what that does is that now you got to really look at Justin Crawford in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now you got to really look at Justin Crawford. Now he's not going to he's not going to give you any power. Like he's just not. But like he's an opposite field slash hitter. And he also stole 46 bases in 112 games at AAA last year. And the Phillies run.
Okay. By the way, that comment is for you at the Sixers game, that you could leave early if they request you.
I've been asked to leave.
Remove yourself from the premises.
Yeah. I've been Felix Unger before. Asked to leave and never to return. Yeah, I've been there.
It's all right. I call it being a fan supporting your team.
I think so.
Right, Montreal?
Well, the worst part is I never have a dog in the fight when I go to a Sixers game. So like that's even worse. Like I'm not rooting for anything. Like I'm rooting for technical fouls. That's what I'm rooting for.
Come and talk to me when they put your picture up at the gate like they did with me in the old Montreal Forum back in the day. Right, Bobby? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, you know.
Oh, anyhow, next week we're a Monday show next week, right?
We are a Monday show next week.
8:00 p.m. live.
As I will be scouting some of these very players that we talk about in Arizona next week. and I'll be able to give some feedback on who looks good and who doesn't.
Might they have some cold beer for you and Dr. Dan?
They'll definitely have some cold beer and some tacos, and I think I'm seeing Jack Caglianone next week.
Sweet. Tell him I said hi. Tell him to do better than he did last year.
I'm definitely seeing the Cubs. I'm definitely seeing the Giants. And I think I'm seeing the A's and the Brewers on Friday. I think I'm going to A's and Brewers on Friday. So
let me send. Hey, I'm going to send you the shirt.
They'll be selling them there. They'll definitely.
You're right, Bob.
They're definitely going to be selling them there. Yeah, that's shit. Taking a picture of you using the entire restroom as a restroom.
Entire building.
Good
and damn
God.
Proud of it.
Good God.
Anyhow, next Monday, 8 o'clock.
Next Monday, 8 o'clock, we'll talk about prospects that look like they're going to make the major league team and what their fantasy impact may be, and we'll talk about roster position battles. It'll be a good game. Lombard took Garrett Crochet 404 feet.
All right. Next week, we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us. Later.